And so many times you see people looking at their passion and saying, okay, I love doing this, but how do I really turn it into a business? And you've probably made a lot of mistakes along your way, and I'm sure that you have put in this book many of the steps that they need to take to make sure that they don't make the same mistakes you've made.
Exactly.
And so that's one of the key factors. I know for me in my business, when I started, I didn't have a roadmap. I didn't have a blueprint. And I wish I had, you know, a book like this, Cubicle the CEO, to give me kind of the guiding points of what is it that I need to do in my business at the beginning stages, the fundamentals, the foundation of my business, so I can have that success. You know, so I went through a number of trial and errors. But you're correct that there's so much opportunity today. And this is why we need to have a blueprint for success, because so many people are out of jobs and needing the opportunity, you know.
And you know, you talked about the opportunities. I always say, I'll talk with people and they always talk about the problems that exist, that exist. And I tell them, problems are good. Problems are good because, see, every problem bears with it a seed of opportunity.
Absolutely.
Every problem bears with it a seed of opportunity. So we have to find out the problems that exist. We have to examine the problems that exist, look at our talent, assess our own talent, and then find out how we can tap into our talent to solve that problem. How can we tap into our talent and resolve that problem? There's a quote I love, and it simply says, a winner is someone who recognizes their God-given talent. They develop those talents into skills, and they utilize those skills to accomplish their goals and dreams.
Wow,
and that's the essence of what it all boils down to. And so often I sit down with talented people, and they take for granted their talent. They think that it is common. They don't really put value in those talents. Right. And that's what I really try to get down to the bottom of, and show them that, hey, let's look at these talents, and people will pay you for utilizing your talents. You're special. You're a special individual. You have these special talents that are unique to you. Right. And let's find out how we can monetize this, and then find a way to turn this into a business opportunity. And now you're doing what you love to do, and you would do it for free, but now you're getting paid and making a living and taking care of your family.
Absolutely. And you know, in the book you talked about a mindset for success, and sitting here listening to you, it's obviously that you think differently than most people. Why is that important, and why did you spend so much time in the book talking about a mindset for success?
That's where I kick everything off. That's the beginning. That is how it starts, because, see, you have to be mentally prepared to succeed. Before you sit down and start writing out a business plan, or before you try to go get seed capital from a venture capitalist or an angel investor, you first have to develop what I call a mindset for success. If you look at successful individuals, you'll notice that they had one thing in common, and it was the proper attitude. See, if you don't have the proper attitude, then you won't succeed. You're going to want to give up too early. You're not going to want to persevere, because it's not easy. It's not always easy. It takes hard work. It takes perseverance. It takes determination. And sometimes people don't want to put in the work that it takes to make it happen. And so that's what I try to mentally prepare people for first, is that we need to look at successful people, and we need to look at the characteristics in these successful people to find out what it is that they have that allow them to persevere. We all love stories of underdogs who have pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and made a success for themselves.
Absolutely.
But there's something inherent that is, you know, in all of them. And it talks about that proper attitude, that mindset, that drive that says, I'm not going to quit no matter what. No matter how many times I fail, I'm going to succeed, period. I mean, you go back in stories, Abraham Lincoln. If you study Abraham Lincoln, excuse me, you'll find that he failed a number of times. He failed a number of times, but he kept on trying and kept on trying. Everything he did, everything he put his hands on, he failed at, but he kept on going. And we'll talk about modern day people, people like 50 Cent. I don't know if you listen to rap, but if you study 50 Cent's story, he has a very, very inspirational story, because, see, the title of his first CD, Get Rich or Die Trying, I mean, he was actually living that. And I don't mean necessarily on the crime level, but I mean on the level of he refused to give up. He couldn't get the record deal, but he refused. He said, well, I'm going to put a CD together and I'm going to sell it out of my trunk. I'm going to do whatever it takes to succeed at this. I don't need the record companies. And then pretty soon the record companies were coming to him because he just said, I'm going to chart my own path. I refuse to fail. I'm going to make it no matter what. And that's the mindset that you have to have.
And this is true. And you know, it's so interesting listening to you talk about failure, 50 Cent, and I have read his story. And it's, you know, one of the fundamental differences I see with successful people and those who are not successful is that they understand one thing, and I like this quote, is that failure is the prerequisite to success. That you don't get to success by just jumping to success. You have to go through failure. You have to persevere. You have to have determination, like you said. So understanding that mindset is so key, and I'm glad that you went into that book, because I read a lot of books and unfortunately don't spend enough time talking about the importance of mindset, and mindset is so key. Now, talking about failure, you've probably had yourself a number of failures and challenges along the way. I know, you know, coming to this end product hasn't been easy, and you know, knowing you for such a short time and knowing your story has been such an inspiration to me, and as the listening audience hears your story, I know they're going to be inspired. So tell me some of the defining moments for you in your life. What have you gone through to bring this book to the market? You know, some of the challenges you've faced.
Well, before I even get into the challenges of the book, I'm going to get into the challenges of my business, because yes, you talk about the Entrepreneur of the Year that I received, and I was very thankful for that, and being selected as one of the 40 under 40. But I'll tell you, when I first got started in business, I'll share with you, I started out in a little corner office. Not even a corner office. I started off in the living room of my home, and I had a little corner desk that I bought from Walmart and a computer that I bought online at eBay. I was over a friend's house and I bought it online on eBay. Sure. And that's how I began my business. So I started off very small, began to grow, began to, you know, prosper. And let me tell you, Darien, the economy hit, and this was prior to this crash. The economy hit and I lost almost everything. I lost it all. And I was, at the time, I didn't know how I was going to make it through, but I just kept on persevering, and eventually built my company back up. So yes, I had lost it all, and you can recover from that. Then we got into the stages, we get into the book a little bit, and I'll tell you a little story about the book. One of the things I'm big on is mentors and learning from other people's mistakes.
Right.
I love that. I love to learn from other people's mistakes. That's why I study people who are successful, because I don't want to fall and make the same mistakes that they made. So I sat down with the gentleman when I finally got the idea to put this book together. I was doing the workshops, getting positive feedback, and that's important. I was getting positive feedback from the individuals who were attending the workshop. So that was letting me know that I was on the right path. But I sat down with an individual who I really admired. They were really successful in their own right, built multi-million-dollar companies, very successful multi-millionaire. And I sat down with him and shared with him my idea for this book. I showed him the curriculum that I had already put together. And one of the first things he said to me was, Jay, I think you're a little presumptuous in thinking that you are ready to write a book. Yeah, exactly. I tell you, Darren, he said, you might want to wait till you make your first couple of $1 million, and then maybe somebody will want to hear what you have to say. And that was key, because I tell you, I had worked so hard to get to where I was, and I was a success. I had gotten awards, I had gotten recognition, I had gotten success in my business, and I was doing these workshops with individuals who were telling me I was making a difference in their lives. But this one individual, I sat down with him, and I tell you, they always say sticks and stones might break my bones, but words will never hurt. But that is so untrue, Darien. It is so untrue, because the words that he shared with me that day cut me like a knife. And I was devastated sitting right there in front of this gentleman. But you know what? I had to think about it. I thought for a second. I said to myself, you know what? And I looked at him. I said, well, you don't even know what it took for me to get to this point. You don't know what it took for me to get here because I'm not supposed to be here right now.
Absolutely.
You don't know how, you don't know what I went through just to even get to this phase in my business.
Right.
I was ready to give everything up and I started from nothing. And so I said to him, I said, this book is not about how to make $1 million. It's not about how to make $1 million. It's about how to survive when everything all around you is falling apart.
Right.
That's what it's about. It's about how do I hold it together? What can I do right now to hold things together so that I can keep moving forward and moving toward my purpose?